Morning, and thank you, Dr. Rajesh. That was really an introduction which I don't know what to say about, but it's humbling. Absolute honor and privilege to be here this morning. I was going through the list of people who've been here, and I think I stood out in a different way. I didn't have a prefix to my name. I think everybody around here has that wonderful prefix, which to me, as I've grown up, is a prefix which reflects nobility. I've grown up with two professions being the most noblest in this world. One is all of you here and all your fraternity, which is the doctors. The other is the teachers. So absolutely humbled and an honor and privilege to be here. We are just coming out of a COVID scenario, hopefully. और जिस तरीके से, जिस तरह से आपने ये लड़ाई लड़ी है और लड़ रहे हैं, आपका शुक्रिया करूं तो कैसे करूं? You know, I started looking at the English dictionary and started to find words like magnificent, outstanding, fantastic, awesome, out of the world. I'll run out of adjectives, but I cannot do justice to what all of you have single-handedly done in this fight. I can't do justice to all that your fraternity has done all over the world. Thank you so much for being what you are. On that note, I can't help but make a mention of what we did at Reliance, and I'll spend a few minutes there. Really, you know, when the COVID epidemic broke, we set three priorities in the organization. Priority number one was safety and well-being of our entire workforce, families, and loved ones. Priority number two was safety, well-being, health of our workforce, their families, and their loved ones. And priority number three, by now you don't need to guess. Okay, it calls for itself. And under Dr. Rajesh's leadership, under Dr. Tarang's leadership, who heads our foundation hospital, I think we left no stone unturned. We attempted to stay ahead of this tsunami, if I were to call it that. And in our context, what was really, really outstanding was the fact that the first point of call for any person was a doctor. The first point of call was a doctor. So you could actually reach out to a doctor at the outset. And we did this through our digital platform, Health Hub. Really, every day there was a check-in. We knew who was unwell, not unwell. The doctors reached out proactively, ensured the families were taken care of, and it worked so seamlessly that we were really honored, absolutely. And we do have some showcasing of this in our Reliance Digital Solutions booth there. And if you go and see there, you know, you have Kiwi Health, which is for patient management. You have Care Expert for hospital information. You have NetMeds. You have Reliance MedLabs. You have, you know, Life Sciences. And I don't know how I can get the slide up, but can I? Yeah, okay. Go on, okay. Yeah, okay. So that gives you a flavor of what we did. And this was a completely integrated platform. It was absolutely digital. And you had a check-in every day. It happened every day. Everyone, you knew the health of all the workforce, their families, their loved ones at the click of a button on a daily basis. And this continues even to this day. And we've just extended this platform, and feel free to go and go and visit the booth. I had a set of slides put together, okay. I had actually 3 slides here. And to do justice to my team that helped put it together, I'll go through those slides, but that's not what I'm going to talk about. So, but allow me the honor and privilege, otherwise my team back will say, we did this effort, and you didn't even use the slides. So I'll take you through these. And I'm getting into context now of the mind, the body, and the spirit. What is holistic well-being? And if I started to talk about holistic well-being, it would be like, what should I say, preaching to the converted here. So I will not attempt to do that. But if we were to think about holistic well-being, it is about mind, it is about the body, and it is about the spirit. And if we were to think about that, and if we were to just reflect on, what is any person's state? Okay? This is the state of mind, right? When you start to think about an individual, you want to think about a person, you're really looking, any person, any individual, I've got employee there, but any one of us would be thinking about these things at any point in time. Right? This is really what goes through our minds. And over the last 3 years or so, I think we've been preoccupied with health. I think that's been there's been a lot of stress. Okay, as we've thought about it, it's changed mindsets in some form, manner. If we were to think about it. But if you start to think about it, something or the other plays on your mind, right? And look at this as each one of us. And if we were to go forward on this, and what are the challenges? And this is stuff that I think each one of you are very, very familiar with. Okay, these are the challenges that we face. Okay, and again, it is incredible, right? What did COVID do? In COVID times, we could not even be present with our 5-year-old child. Okay, so the absence of a caregiver in that sense, and we were privileged to have you all around. Okay, that was the comforting factor. But these are things that are the challenges in the society, and I'll go through the final slide. Okay, and I would have done justice to my team, right? They made a lot of effort to put this together. Okay, these are some of the remedial measures that we take umbrage under, and I think really, if we were to think about it, that's where it is. So I'm done with my slides now. Okay, and I didn't have any other script when I came in here. But as I was coming in here, Dr. Rajesh talked to me about a session that some of you would have been present in. And that set my mind thinking, okay? Yesterday you would have heard Dr. Mohit Gupta. And I was really absolutely fascinated with that story. Because that story has everything to do with mind, with body, and with spirit all coming together. Now, if you were to classically look at the English dictionary, right? If you were to classically look at the English dictionary, it would tell you the mind is the part of the brain that thinks, okay? The body is the physical being. And the spirit is not physical, but it is thinking and feeling, right? If you were to think about it. But when it all comes together, that is when magic happens. And there are enough and enough stories of this magic, and I'll talk about 2 of them. And I don't know how many of you would have heard the name of Glenn Cunningham. Anyone in the audience has heard the name of Glenn Cunningham? Absolutely fantastic. As a 7-year-old, he was into an accident which had burn injuries in his legs. Burn injuries where doctors told he would never ever walk again in life. Never ever walk again in life. It took 7 months for him. Not only did he walk, he ran. And not only did he run, he actually broke the world record in the mile. So that is about the mind, body, and spirit coming together. I'll pick another name. And this is a name I'm sure all of you have heard of, right? Have you heard of Helen Keller? Absolutely. Fantastic. 19 months. She was all of 19 months in this world. And what happened to her? She lost her sight and she could not hear. She lost her sight, she could not hear. Mark Twain, you've heard that name? Became a good friend in life and called her a miracle worker. He called her a miracle worker. Okay. She, with deafness and blindness, completed her graduation from a college none other than Radcliffe, which is one of the top colleges in the world, and has been an author to 14 books. And what is this about? This is again about the mind, the body, and spirit coming together, right? And that is holistic well-being. That is holistic well-being. And Dr. Rajesh mentioned that I've just recently been to Japan. Yes, I was so a little fascinated with Japan. And in Japan, they have a word. And I'll spell this word for you. It's called kokoro, and it is spelled as Kokoro. And what kokoro means, when you say you are kokoro, it doesn't mean you have a good heart. It doesn't mean you have a good mind. It doesn't mean you have a good body. It doesn't mean you have a good spirit. It means you have all of it together. You have all of it together. And in context of this, what I'll leave you with are five reflections. Because to me, it's a mindset issue. To me, it's a mindset issue. And 5 reflections that I'm going to leave you with are the following. The first, and this is all post my conversation with Dr. Rajesh when he related Dr. Mohit's story to me. And I thought, let me just talk about these 5. One is a positive attitude, right? Under any circumstances, how do you have this positive attitude? How do you create this positive energy wherever you are? On this, I'm reminded of an incident, okay? This is a story about a young lad. He came home one day and gave a piece of paper to his mother. He gave this piece of paper to his mother and said, my school teacher asked you to give it to me. And the school teacher said, don't read it, let your mother read it. The mother opened this piece of paper. And as she opened this piece of paper, she had tears streaming from her eyes. And this young lad said, tell me, what is in that piece of paper? And the mother said, the school has written, your son is a genius. We cannot teach him in school. You please have him learn at home. He is beyond school. This is what his mother said. Fast forward several years, and in the interest of time, I'm going to, just move forward. Because when I get a captive audience like this, I don't let go of easily. These days, people don't listen to me normally, but in the interest of time, I'll do that. Fast forward several years. As you fast forward several years, this young lad has grown up to be a gentleman, a person absolutely grown up, and he's rummaging through his attic, and he finds this piece of paper. And you know what? He opens it up. He opens it up, and guess what is written there? What is written in that piece of paper is, your son is delinquent. He's expelled from the school. You know who this person was? This person was Thomas Edison. He grew up to be one of the best known inventors the world has ever seen. And that is positive energy. What did his mother do? She created that aura of positivity around him. And this is about mind. This is about the body. This is about the spirit, which gets people to do these things. It's the similar story like Dr. Mohit. It is a story like Glenn Cunningham. It is a story about Helen Keller, and there are several others. The second thing that I leave you with is goodness of people. Always believe in the goodness of people. Every human on planet Earth has goodness in them. And if you believe that, the mind and body and spirit will also recognize that. Oftentimes not. We get critical of everyone that we meet. What we try to look at is, isme kya nahi hai? If we flip that and say, isme kya acha hai? That again is the mind, body, and spirit coming together. That's the second reflection I would leave you with. The third reflection I'd leave you with is, this too shall pass. We've seen that oftentimes not. This too shall pass. Okay? And go with the flow. If you just go with the flow and let this too shall pass stay in the mind, it will do wonders. Fourth reflection, okay? Adversity, and this is an age-old adage. Adversity is always an opportunity. Okay, what did adversity do? COVID fast-forwarded multiple things that we would have taken decades to get to. Decades to get to, right? It just fast-forwarded it. And the final reflection I will leave you with, and this is very close to my heart, is to reach out. Is to reach out. And let me elucidate this with another story that I have here. Okay, this is about a young girl, happens to be a girl in this case here. And she, with her father, was crossing a plank. And there was a raging river under. There was a raging river. She was crossing this plank, and the father was very concerned. Okay? So he said, hold my hand. Mera haath pakad le. Mera haath jaldi se pakad le bache. This young girl, who was less than 10, turns around to her father and says, no, you hold my hand. You hold my hand. The father was astounded. The father was astounded and said, what is the difference? He couldn't figure out. The girl turns around and says, you know what? If I hold your hand, it is I who would have held it. And if something were to happen, you could very easily let go because I held it. But if you hold my hand, and if something were to happen, you would never let go. It is what each one of you do with your patients, right? Once you hold them, once you reach out, you don't let go. So please reach out. So I've just talked about these five things. To me, this is what you call coming together, Kokoro. You can do a Google search and find out what Kokoro means. And to me, these 5 reflections really are positive energy. Create positive energy wherever you go. Believe in the goodness of people. This too shall pass. Okay, this too shall pass. Go with the flow. Adversity is an opportunity. And reach out. Reach out means go to the person. Don't let the person come to you. And on that note, I will just end with this. And this is in service of you. This is in service of you because I think in the kind of profession all of you have chosen, and you know, many others have. And this is for you, right? So will you repeat it after me? Okay? You'll repeat it after me, and you're saying it for yourself, right? Will you repeat it after me or not? I don't see any hand up here. Yes? तो फिर कहिए अपने लिए, हमारा जीने का तरीका, हमारा जीने का तरीका, हमारा जीने का तरीका कुछ अलग है.
जीने का तरीका कुछ अलग है.
हम उम्मीद पर नहीं,
हम उम्मीद पर नहीं,
हम अपनी जिद पर जीते हैं.
हम अपनी जिद पर जीते हैं.
And it is your zid, right? You all don't let go of that zid, right? Which is what makes this world such a wonderful place. and such a better place. From my heart, heartfelt gratitude to each one of you. And thank you for this opportunity for being here this morning. Thank you all. Absolute pleasure.